we wanted to revisit the auto attack Li Ming segment that we did in our last podcast, specifically the Nurok build. I'm going to call it that because it's his build. So anyway, he actually saw the video or saw us on Twitter talk about it, and he tweeted a response to the our segment, and this is what he said. So I'm actually going to read it verbatim.
Fringe is reading things aloud.
So this is what he said.
Brace yourselves.
This is what he said via Twitter.
Yourselves.
All right, he said this build is not map dependent. I only adjust. Actually, what is his build? Actually, let me pull it up.
Oh man.
So his build is actually we got it wrong, I think, or at least I got it wrong. So it's force armor at 1, charge blast at 4, calamity, wave of force, cannoneer, fireflies, and Tal Rasha elements. That's his build. So this is what he said via Twitter. The build is not map dependent. I only adjust level 7 and level 20 on the build. It is a sustained DPS build to pressure frontliners and outduel mobile enemy heroes like Genji, Zeratul, and not rely on hitting all skill shots. I take Seeker if I think I stay back and poke, and I take Calamity if I think I will get resets in close combat. Parentheses, without the E range on 13, it's not as easy to aim for E damage usage. He goes on, I almost always take this build by now, and I am convinced it's the best build. The only downsides is having less burst and less mobility, but in return you get more spell protection, parentheses, spell armor level 1, end parenthesis, more sustained DPS due to level 4, 13, and 16, and you can auto attack tanks without being in complete danger because E has unstoppable frames, unlike Vala's Vault. But it depends obviously on enemy draft, end of story, or the takeaway. I take the build almost always by now. More sustained DPS, and Li Ming evolves from a bursty spell-only mage into a auto-attack mage. The risk isn't that high, as mentioned by us. You just need to understand what you're doing and play with your mobility. The highest weaknesses are massive dive. If you can't escape or kill, you're pretty much dead.
That's also the same weaknesses of old Li Ming too.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's a little bit worse, a little bit. But I've tried the build a couple times. I've played maybe 7-8 games with this build, and I love it. It's my new Li Ming build. It takes one of Li Ming's greatest teamfight weaknesses and then trades a little bit of survivability and fixes that weakness. So what is it? She is very gimmicky in that she's reset dependent. So she needs to kill somebody to actually be useful in the team fight. And what happens if she is not able to kill somebody? Because, missiles are slow, they're hard to aim, and, it's very hard to finish somebody unless they're low and you hop in for the calamity. So it takes that, transforms it with Cannoneer at level 13. And if you have proper stutter stepping and, aiming your auto attacks, she can focus a portion of her overall damage into those auto attacks and, burst people down straight up. Like you QWE and then auto attack, and that's like a QWE and 4 auto attacks all in one instant. It's a shit ton of damage.
And actually, he sent me a replay where he was playing Li Ming, and he was playing against a Greymane and a Gul'dan, and he had like 65k damage, and like the next highest was like Greymane with like 45k. So you're talking about an extra, 18% more damage.
Yeah.
And he was really good. I actually watched it at dinner last night, and it was really good. And it was
it's great.
It was half mass. So.
And with 16 going Fireflies, you have a lot more missiles to work with, and they're fast, easier to aim, so it's harder to dodge. Yeah, it's good.
He's chunky in ETC pretty well with his auto attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the only trouble she has is Diablo because of his spell armor and his ability to dive the backline. And but you can play around it a little bit with your draft and your playstyle. But the biggest thing is going Wave of Force at level 10. And why go Wave of Force instead of Disintegrate? Disintegrate's more damage and it hits more people. Wave of Force gives you the damage instantly. In that same instant you cast it, you're getting the damage. and disintegrate takes 2 seconds or something, whatever long it takes to put out the damage is sometimes too long, and they're escaping by the time you're getting your resets off. So
I think this should be the mandatory build now. I mean, I don't know about lower levels, but I think this is the mandatory build if you're going to play Li Ming now. And actually, we were wrong, actually. So we apologize. We actually got it wrong. At least I got it wrong. This is actually a really good build. If you're good at stutter stepping, then you're going to be pretty good with this build. So again, it's Force Armor at 1, Charge Blast, then Calamity, Wave of Force, Cannoneer, Fireflies, and then Tal Rasha's Elements. So again, thank you, Nurok, for taking the time out of your day to send me the replay as well as tweeting at us. And again, Nurok
is
what?
Badass.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I found this build.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, for those of you who don't know, Nurok, as of right now, as of Thursday night, he is a member of Team Liquid. I wish him the best. Hopefully, we'll do more. If he has any other builds, feel free to let me know. And then we'll do another segment.